Hi guys, this is me, Admin Josh from Pageant Empress, and in today's video, I have a special guest with me. She is competing for the upcoming Miss Universe 2020. I have Miss Universe Iceland 2020, Elisabet Hulda. Hello, Elisabeth. How are you?
Hi, I'm really good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great from Thailand. Good morning, and
Good morning or good evening for me here.
would you mind introducing yourself in Miss Universe style? So say your full name, age, and Iceland in the introduction style. Would you be able to do that?
Okay,
A
all
lot of
right,
energy.
okay. Okay. Oh, okay, crack my neck here. All right. Elisabet Hulda Snorradottir, 22, Iceland.
That was great. Round of applause. I want to take you back to your childhood. So where did you grow up and how were you as a child?
I grew up in Iceland, but I have been moving around a lot. So one summer I lived in Barcelona, and for 1 year I lived in Belgium. And my dad is a pilot, and my mom was a flight attendant. So I just traveled everywhere growing up, and I never really got. There's this one house that is like my home, and it's always been the same house that we go back to. But otherwise, I have been living in a lot of different places. So that is something I think is, quite interesting because it's often that people just stay in one place.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Funny you say that because I have very similar story too. Like I was born in Hong Kong. I lived in Nepal until I was 10. UK. My dad is in the army, so I went to the UK, did all of my education. Now I'm in Thailand. I feel like we're very similar in
Oh,
that way.
wow.
Lived in different countries.
Yeah, we are. I love that.
Study high school in Barcelona or Belgium? High school.
No, so in Barcelona, I was just a child. I think I was only like 5 years old. And I did like high school in Iceland. We call it junior college actually in Iceland, but I did that completely in Iceland. But always growing up, just from the age of 17, I always traveled abroad for language school. So I've been going to Japan since I was 17 and going for language schools there, and then also going to Korea at the same time. And recently, now in university, I'm studying Chinese studies. So I believe because of my travels, I, am just studying a lot more than I thought I would ever would. So
That's amazing. So you're like a world traveler, right? You like to travel the world,
yeah,
it seems. That's
I
for me,
really
that's
love it.
amazing. Yeah, I can definitely relate to you in that. So the next question is, what is your educational background and why did you select this particular subject?
I think that kind of goes back to a little bit of what we were talking about earlier. So, like I said, I went to language school from age 17 and I financed that myself. And I did that for 3 years. And while doing that, I always did that over the summer. So, over like the winter period, I was in school in Iceland. And then during summer vacation, I went to study more just in Japan. So, the past years have been really occupied with studying,
Uh-huh.
and I really was not planning on going to university. I was like, no, I'm just going to like travel abroad, move abroad. I'm leaving. I'm not going to do this anymore. But then during a university kind of an introduction of the university, I saw that they had Chinese studies, and I was like, oh wait, that's interesting. And I just decided to go through with it. And now I am finishing my second year in Chinese studies, and I might be moving to China in the autumn. So it's very
Ah,
interesting.
that's fascinating. For me, I love Japan. I love the Japanese culture, the whole culture. It's so fascinating to me. So, for you, as someone who is a European, why are you so interested, or what made you really love the Japanese culture or the language?
It started with hiragana, one of the Japanese alphabets. And it started when I was around 13 or so, 12, 13 years old. And I saw hiragana and I was like, hey, I can just memorize this and I can use it to cheat on my exams. So
That's smart.
I was like trying to do like, work smart, not hard, but I ended up working harder anyway because now I speak Japanese after everything. So just from studying hiragana,
Mhm.
I also like I tried watching some animes, and at first I was like, no. Because like I think I just stumbled upon the wrong anime. I did not like it. And then I actually ended up watching like Shinkeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, and I
Mhm.
like really liked that one. And that kind of got me interested, but I prefer reading mangas though. So my favorite manga is Basara. And that is what truly got me more interested. And then along with that, I started researching into the culture. And when I first learned about the culture, it was really overwhelming. I was like, wait, people still like bow in today's society? And just, with the hierarchy and different levels of respect to speak and so on, it was just really overwhelming, because in Iceland, we have nothing like that. We have no hierarchy whatsoever. You speak to your grandpa the same way you speak to your little brother.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was just something that it was such a big culture shock at first, and it was really overwhelming. So I backed off. I was like, I can't. But there was always something dragging me back to it. And I'm so happy that I kept an open mind towards it, even though at first I was like, no, I can't. Now, like, I've been traveling to the country for so many years, and I have so many great friends from these travels, and not only Japanese ones, but also just people that I met in my language school. So it's been a life-changing experience.
Like I always said, I appreciate different cultures, and especially for you, you live in like the other side of the world. And for me, I kind of understand because I'm Asian, but you live in like the other side of the world. Iceland is so far away from Japan. You learning the language, which is one of the most hardest language to learn. So for me, I completely appreciate that. I don't know how
Yeah,
you do
like,
it. Yeah.
yeah, it was also just so interesting because we didn't learn anything about it.
Hmm.
We learn, I think generally, we learn very little about Asia. We mainly just learn about the Western world. We
Hmm.
learn very little about Asia and nothing about Africa.
Right.
And I just find that really interesting. Like, why are we not learning about those continents too?
True.
Because the world has so much to offer. And I'm kind of like rebellious in the sense of when I feel like something is not being taught to me on purpose, I want to learn it.
That's great. Please speak in Japanese, maybe one line or two to our viewers.
こんばんは、皆さん。私はエリザベットです。私はアイスランドのミスユニバーサルです。よろしくお願いします。
It's amazing.
Great.
So even though you're not fluent, I can see that you're definitely catching that accent, the Japanese accent. So it's amazing.
Yeah, like I have the accent, but it's just when it comes to vocabulary sometimes. And I'm shocked that I can still speak it because I haven't spoken it for almost 3 years now.
Japanese alone is a difficult language. Why do you want to learn Mandarin, which is like the toughest language in the world?
So with Mandarin, at first, I was never going to learn it. I knew it was difficult, and I was like, I am not going to put myself through that. That is too difficult. I refuse. But then I learned Japanese, and I also know Korean. And somehow, just because, China is also so it's what, Taiwan, China, and then we have Japan and Korea that are the East Asian countries. Because if you learn Japanese or Korean history, you always also learn about China, because China was always the big dog with the big dynasties. And I love history, so I love learning about that. And when it came to Chinese, I always knew it was going to be difficult because of the 5 tones. My language is not a tone language, and none of the languages that I know are tone languages. I just felt like it was too overwhelming and I didn't want to do it. But then when I was graduating from junior college in Iceland, I saw the Chinese studies and I was like, wait, this could be a really great opportunity, because why not challenge myself with something new? I might not be able to pick it up at first, but hey, 1.5 billion people can speak that language. I must be able to learn it too. So I was just like, why not just push through it? And now I've been learning it for 2 years. And I'm kind of getting the tones down. I'm actually going to release a Chinese language video tomorrow.
I'm excited.
So yeah, but I just felt like, learning Chinese would not be too difficult because I already knew Japanese. So because in Japanese, we have the kunyomi and the onyomi. And even I can tell you, like, just from my history of knowing Korean and Japanese, that has been helping me learn Chinese. Because I noticed like they are related languages. So often it's a similar word, or sometimes even exactly the same word. So that has really helped.
It is good that you're learning Mandarin, because a lot of people might not know, but the Japanese and the Korean language and other Asian languages are actually influenced by the Mandarin language. So that makes sense that you're learning like the mother language of all those languages you're learning. Oh yeah, it's like the same family. So is there any other languages that you're interested in the learning maybe in the future?
I would like to, refresh my French again. And then, of course, like, I'm really interested in Italian and Spanish, just because they are also like, I feel like if you know one language from the language tree, it's easy for you to learn the other languages. In the Asian section, I really want to learn Thai. I
You
really
should.
want to learn Thai and Cantonese. But Thai is something that fascinates me because of the alphabet. I think the alphabet is the reason why I'm so fascinated in learning languages in Asia is just because you have the alphabet.
You're talking to the right person then. You're not learning Thai. Because for me, I'm not a Thai by blood, but I have lived in Thailand. So I had to learn the Thai language through like the beginner's level. And let me tell you, if you can speak Mandarin or any of the Asian languages, it's very similar. Like the Thai is influenced by Sanskrit, which is from India, and Mandarin, which is from China. It's like a mix of both of them. So once you perfect that Mandarin language, trust me, it will be an ease for you.
Thank you for the good news. Then I'm definitely going to do it. Yes.
So would you mind if I make you say one line in Thai?
Do it. Oh my God, do it.
Yeah,
Even
okay.
more.
Okay, I'll just teach you.
Yes.
Just introduction. So, สวัสดีค่ะ is hello. สวัสดีค่ะ.
Sawadika.
Yeah, สวัสดีค่ะ.ฉันชื่อ Elisabet Hulda.
ฉันชื่อ Elisabet Hulda.
And
Am
in
I
the
getting
end,
the tones?
yes. It has to be high pitch because female has to go like higher, but man has to go down. The pitch of the voice.
Ah.
And the last, just Elizabeth ชอบประเทศไทยครับ.
สวัสดีค่ะ ฉันชื่อ Elisabet Hulda ค่ะ Elisabet ชอบผู้ติดไทยค่ะ
That was brilliant. You did it so well. I'm sure all the Thai people
Awesome.
are happy to see this now.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That's brilliant. So, have you joined any beauty pageants before joining Miss Universe Iceland?
No, but I did do Miss Universe Iceland 2 times. So first time around, I was the first runner-up. And then the second time I won.
When did you compete last time before this? When was the last time?
The year before, I was Bishta Abiba's first runner-up.
And she placed in top 10, so we have high expectation from you now. No pressure.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, like I honestly don't feel too much pressure. I'm just going to do the best I can do. That is the only thing I have control over, and that's the way I'm going to do it.
What motivated you to join beauty pageant?
First, it was just kind of curiosity. I really believe that the movie Miss Congeniality is a big reason why I started wanting to do a pageant, because I remember watching that movie as a girl with my mom, and you know the scene at the beginning when she's like putting her meal in the microwave and she goes into her room and falls down and then goes and punches the bag. I used to recreate that scene in my room. So I would go, like, I was like 8 or 7 or however old I was, and I used to go into my room and pretend to fall down and then go like made me first interested. And then it was just curiosity of, is it really like that? And after doing like the first time I competed, I would say that was like a test run, because then I was just kind of like feeling out what is this about and so on. And after I competed, I became so inspired to bring my own thing to pageantry. And I feel like that's when I properly became a big fan of pageantry.
I am a huge fan of Sandra Bullock. Like for me, Miss Congeniality was like the first movie I watched of her, and I was like, okay, you know what? She's iconic. And also,
Yes.
maybe because of that, I follow pageants so religiously. Why do you think beauty pageants are still relevant in today's society?
Just like today's society, pageants have also been changing. Pageants change with time because we have new generations coming in. We have new things that the pageants is focusing on and going towards a new image. And that is something that I believe is always going to be relevant to today's society. I think it's very important that we have a good representation of something. And people might think like, oh, beauty pageant, because I feel like the name beauty pageant is not giving pageants its justice of what they deserve, because it's so much more. This is about who you are as a person and what you can bring to the world to change it. I believe like pageants will always be relevant because pageants will always keep changing.
That is such a wonderful answer. I'm so happy you said that, because I too believe in that. Because if you go back in history, look at when Miss Universe started, it was just a bikini contest, right? It was just to sell the bikini company, and now it has evolved so much. There's so much to it. And what you said, I completely agree with you on that. Can you please talk about your advocacy or your project that you're currently working on?
My advocacy that I'm bringing to Miss Universe is most definitely just cultural understanding, because I have gone through the process of being from a very homogenous country where I saw everyone that looked like me and no one that didn't. And I remember even the first time I saw a person of color, like we're that homogenous. Simply have gone through the process of being proven wrong of stereotypes, because when you're from a homogenous country, the only thing you have to tell you or teach you about the world is going to be television now. If you allow that to be the truth and you don't have the curiosity to learn about others, then your world will stay small. But I feel just from learning more about each other, we can see truly how beautiful the world is, because we are all so different, but we're all the same at the same time. And I think that is something really important to keep in mind, especially in today's society, as we are all connected now through social media. And that is just something that I think we all need to work more on, to have more patience and understanding towards one another.
What do you like to do in your free time? Any hobbies or any talents you have?
I love watching TV or any kind of dramas, and I like going into different countries and going into just a new genre, because it's so interesting when you see how they're making things in America and then you go, for an example, to Thailand, and it's the production of the show is completely different, and I find that so fascinating. Like, I think one of my biggest hobbies is just, dramas and just seeing how they are made.
Learning about different languages and different cultures. I would definitely recommend, if you want to know about Thai culture, there is a famous Thai drama. It's in Netflix too. It's called Love Destiny. It is like the most watched Thai drama in the history of Thai television series. Love Destiny. I can type to you.
I think I've heard about it before. Is it on Netflix?
Yes, on Netflix. Love, so Love, and Destiny. It is like the most watched Thai drama of all time. And you will learn about Thai history as well, because she goes back in time and she learns about all the Thai.
I love those dramas. Oh my God, I love
watch it.
those dramas. I love time traveling dramas. I will watch it. Oh
People
my
back
God,
in
yes,
time.
I have something to do after this.
If you want to learn about Thai culture, I think this is such a perfect way to like introduce yourself or like learn about the language as well, because she also struggles to learn the language because it is so different. The ancient Thai language, it is so different to now. So yeah, it might be a bit difficult, but
Oh my, I'm getting chills. Like, this is my niche that we're talking about. I'm getting chills now. I love this. I'm a huge nerd for history, and I'm a huge nerd for languages. So this is hitting the bucket.
So who is your favorite Miss Universe winner and why?
Pia, and it's Catriona. First time I noticed Miss Universe, the pageant itself, is because of Pia, what happened there. Watching a pageant for the first time, that was just because I became so curious, like, what is this about? And I just fell in love with Pia. She feels so genuine. And then there's the same thing with Catriona. After her year, that's when I decided to apply. Watch the pageant and see these women just glow. And I was like, that is so inspiring. I want to do that myself.
I love how you said that, because you know what? I was watching Miss Universe 2015 last night because I just downloaded the app, IQ, the Chinese app,
Yeah.
you can invest, and they had that. And I was like, okay, you know what? Might as well just watch it. That was one of the pinnacle for me when I fell in love with beauty pageants, because before I used to watch it, I was like, it's good. It's a pretty girl is winning. But when Pia won, I was like, wow. My whole family was watching and they never watch pageants. My mom was like texting me saying, oh, what is happening? Like, is this girl winning? Is she the runner-up? Like, we were having an actual conversation about Miss Universe, which had never happened. People who do not even watch pageantry were talking about Miss Universe. And I thought, wow, Pia, you did that.
Yeah, exactly. She did that. And that is just something that, that I feel like was like the switch.
Yes.
And then what drove me forward was definitely watching Catriona's year. And that's when I was like, I'm going to do this.
I like how we say Catriona, even though we, like English speaking people, we say Catriona. You said it in is it Spanish, right?
Oh, Catriona, that's the Icelandic way.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yeah, we also roll our R's in Icelandic, Catriona.
Oh, wow. So I was like, oh, okay. It doesn't really sound like the way I usually hear, because we say like Catriona, like C-A-T, but you said it, in a interesting way. So how is your preparation going on for Miss Universe, as you're one of the early birds who arrived to USA?
Traditionally, for Miss Universe Iceland, she goes straight after winning the pageant to the USA to be on a road trip for a couple of months, or like a month and a half or so on. And because of COVID, I never got that. But then, knowing that the pageant was going to be held here in Florida, and my director lives here in Florida, I was like, I'm going to come early. I'm going to come and get my road trip. I'm going to get prepared. So what I'm really also happy about is that my preparation has been going on and leading all the way up to the competition. So I feel like I've been in the competition for quite a while now, because I've been here for such a long time. Like, it's a month today. And I am like I went to West Virginia to get my dress and like more stuff from our sponsor there, and then I also went to Philadelphia to meet my runway coach. And it's just so much fun because I've mainly just been working with them through the internet, but I got to meet them in person. I'm so grateful that my director lives here and kind of like how the universe aligns so this would be possible for me.
Me and my friend, he's from Puerto Rico, Oscar, we made a video about the early birds. And guess who was our favorite look? Like the favorite, most stylish out of all the girls who came early?
Who?
You.
I didn't want to say
Both
it
of us
though.
picked you as the
Oh,
winner.
oh, thank you. That makes me feel honored. Like honestly, I really loved the look because
Uh-huh.
like I had just bought that jacket and it was really funny because I usually have to take size small and everything, but that jacket is a size large, but it fits perfectly. And I was just like, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna wear that and this, and I am ready. Iceland is coming.
So did you style yourself or did you have a person helping you to dress?
I did it myself, so I'm really proud of it.
Congratulations. You have really good style. And I was really impressed, like I said, because I love to see like oversized jacket, anything oversized, but the way you paired it with the black, just overall black, it made it so chic. I just love the way you presented yourself, and I was so happy. Like I said, I'm always rooting for the European girls, so I was so happy. I was like, okay, Iceland, she made a mark. I was like so proud of you.
Oh, I'm really happy. Thank you.
Would you mind talking about who is your trainer? Who is training you?
Set is my runway coach. She was Miss Florida 2008. She is my runway coach, and I went to her house and I was staying with her and her family. And she just had a baby. Her baby is 8 weeks old, and she was wearing heels and had him on her. And she was like teaching me how to strut. And I was like, I'm dying in my heels now. Like, how are you feeling, Miss Woman? Like, power woman that just gave birth, walking around showing me how to use my hips properly. I honestly felt like my hips were bruised after her session because I was like, oh my God, I've never moved in this way before.
That's
I was just like,
amazing.
are my hips supposed to go that long?
Uh-huh.
So she's teaching me like how to use my hips properly and so on. And like with my dress sponsor in West Virginia, she is absolutely wonderful. Her shop is Oliverio's Boutique. It's bridal and prom Oliverio's Boutique, or the other way around. I messed it up a little bit, but she made sure that I am completely ready with my dresses, and I am so excited with the ones that I'm bringing. And then we have Jonathan Kane, who is the designer for my dress, and I am so excited to show my dress because I just feel like it's perfect. I feel like it's so me, and I just like when I wore it for the first time, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel like this is going to blow people away.
You don't have to say like, the design was, but can we get a little bit of a sneak peek about your final gown? Maybe the color or anything like that?
The only thing I will say is that if you've been following me along, you could figure it out. I will not say anything else. I
Okay.
want it to be a big surprise.
All right. I feel
So
like I already,
I'm
I feel like
sorry.
I know what color that is. I have a really good thinking. Like, yeah, I feel like because I've watched these since the national pageant, I feel like I have a good idea what color it might be.
Yeah, definitely like pin it down somewhere and then you can see how well it matched with the
Okay.
final look.
What was the first culture shock you had when you first arrived to the USA, which is so different to back home in Iceland?
Currently, in the world situation today, what shocked me the most is kind of like the regulations regarding COVID. I was shocked that I did not have to quarantine, but at the same time, I am from the Shenzhen area, so that area is completely travel banned, so nobody's
Right.
coming in from there. But at the same time, there was no quarantine restrictions, and just in general it's interesting, like the life is much more active here. Like it's kind of like COVID never happened, but still at the same time it is. Like when I went to Miami Beach the other day for a photo shoot, a lot of people were just walking around with no masks, and that's something that kind of shocked me a bit. I was like, whoa, whew, what?
During
But
this time?
they
Okay.
Yes, but they are doing really well with vaccinations here in
Okay.
Florida, which is something that I was also extremely happy with because in
Mhm.
Iceland, it was a little bit slow for us to start. I think now we're in full blown going through and trying to get everyone vaccinated properly, but they've been doing really well here, which is very good. Just how big their houses is and big how food, like the food is too big. I don't get it. I always feel like I'm just overwhelmed because I can't finish it. So then like just the size of it, like we went the other day when we were like driving to the Everglades, we stopped by somewhere and we got like a glass that was like this big, and I finished it, but
Oh, you finished it, the whole thing?
yeah, it was
Oh, wow.
lemonade. I finished it, but it was like this big. You
Wow.
had to hold it with 2 hands.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Because you lived in Japan, right? If you know Japanese food, like it's not that big. The portion is really small. So
Yeah,
Japanese to US, it's like having like
so
yeah, it's like
strange.
complete opposite.
Yeah. And like what I love though is that like when I maybe go like, oh my God, this is so big, they always go like, we don't want you to go home hungry. And I'm like, ah, that's
Yeah.
so cute.
That was nice. So as you said, you have traveled, a lot of countries. So you have to pick one, only one. Which is the best place you have visited so far?
In Kyoto, Japan, I have to have a schedule. I have to have something going on. I don't like it when I go somewhere and I don't have a schedule, where I don't have work or don't have school. It just makes me feel like I am not experiencing things the way I could. And it makes me feel really sad and frustrated at the same time. In Kyoto, Japan, I got to be there for over a month. And that was the shortest stay in Japan, though, out of all my stays. But I got to be there, and every single time before school, I would wake up early and I would walk for an hour to reach my school, because I preferred walking instead of taking the bus, because that way I sometimes like I took different routes to school. So I would see a new house that was completely so beautiful and just so peaceful. And Kyoto in general, it just feels so serene and calm. And you turn a corner and then you see a shrine, and then you turn another corner and you see this old house that has been there for many decades. One of those cities, like I had a schedule, I had things to do, and completely relaxed during that time. So that is the reason why it's my favorite place out of all so far. But I think each and every place has so much to give. I just haven't experienced it the way I should.
I love that you said Kyoto because that's like the ancient capital of Japan. And I've been watching videos
Exactly.
about Kyoto and like how even compared to, we already know that Japanese people in general are very respectful and they follow the rules. But I heard in Kyoto is to an extreme level of they have to follow the traditions and everything has to be a certain way. So I'm fascinated by it in general, like the whole Japanese culture, especially in Kyoto, the culture of Kyoto. I would love to visit it someday. So yeah.
Maybe around 7, when I started work, like
Uh,
started my walk to school, and
right.
people would be in front of their house on the street
Uh,
sweeping. They would be cleaning their neighborhood, and each and every person came out of the house. Like the dad would do it before going to work, the girls also would do it. Like everybody would work together to keep their neighborhood clean. And the recycling system is also amazing in Kyoto. It's really strict, and you can only put your trash during certain days and so on, and you have to recycle it. And I love that. I feel like, in Iceland, we could do a little bit better regarding recycling, because I just love it. It's something you just get used to.
how will you promote your country, Iceland, to the people who have never visited your country before?
I actually used to be a tour guide in Iceland, and I have been doing Northern Light tours and also doing other tours around the country. And the way I can promote it is that when you come during the winter, you can see the Northern Lights. And the Northern Lights, it's a sight that you will never get tired of. I have seen it so many times, but each and every time it's different. And that is just something that can give you chills to see, because it's just, you see this green light dancing in the sky. And sometimes, and actually almost every time, if you are looking long enough at the sky, you will see a star shooting past you. And the star shooting past and the Northern Lights at the same time is just something that can't be measured up to anything. So beautiful to see the snow and the mountains, because we don't have forests. You don't have anything that restricts where the eye can reach. When you come during the summer, that's when you will have sunlight 24/7. The sun
I
doesn't
heard,
go down.
I heard about that part about Iceland. I was
Like,
fascinated when I heard that news. I was like, you do not have sun go down. Like, how is that possible? So what about at night? Do you still have sun? Like, do you have light?
If we look at the globe, and then Iceland is up here, and the
Uh-huh.
globe actually tilts a bit. It's not straight up like we would think, so it tilts a bit. And when it's turning, and during the summer, it's tilting this way, and Iceland is here. It's always in the, like, let's say the sun is here, then it's always going to be in the direction of the sun. No matter how much it turns, it's
Right.
still daylight for us. So
Ah,
that is the reason why we have that in summer. And then when it comes to winter, it's turning away from the sun. And that's why we have very little sunlight. It's just something that is really fascinating to experience, I feel, for foreigners, because for
yeah,
us,
that's
it's
very
normal.
interesting. For someone who has been living in the UK, when I heard things like sun never goes down, even in the summer in Iceland, I was so fascinated just hearing that. I thought, how? Like, how is that even humanly possible? Like, I did not know that. So I'm so happy that you explained it now. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Even though you're quite new to the beauty pageant, so this is the second beauty pageant you have joined, what have you learned from joining beauty pageant that you still implement to your daily life today? And how has beauty pageant changed your life?
Beauty pageants have changed my life in a very positive way, because it's just given me a lot of patience, I would say. I have grown to be patient with myself and also to be more patient with others. And I feel like I've also grown more discipline like in myself, because I'm usually a person that wants to get things over with right away and I don't want to wait and so on. But with pageantry, I just felt like I've learned how to pull myself back a little bit and just enjoy the moment more, because I used to always have to have like plan A, plan B, C, and like all the way to like Zeta. Like I would have to get until the end of the alphabet. I would always have to have a different way to go. But now I am just really living in the moment. And I think that is something that has definitely come from being in pageantry. I'm just really grateful for that, because I'm learning how to just truly appreciate each and every moment that I'm living in.
I feel like I can learn a lot from you and the beauty queen too. Because I'm a blood type A, I am constantly trying to get things done. And I do not have the patience to wait. Like if someone tells me you have to be at dot point, I will be there. If you come 1 second late, I
Yes.
will be so I don't know how I'll be pissed off, but I'll be so like something irks me. So like I have to get it
Yeah,
done.
I'm a little bit like that too. Like when I'm on my way somewhere, if I'm
Uh-huh.
late, I will tell them I'll be there in 3 minutes exactly, and I'll be there in three
Yeah.
minutes. So I can be myself a little bit uptight when it comes to time
Mhm.
scheduling and so on. Like, can I ask what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Scorpio. What are
You're a
you?
water sign.
Yes. What about
Okay.
you?
I'm a Sagittarius. I'm after you. I'm a fire sign.
But I think we're like connecting well, even though we're like different element, don't you
Yeah,
think?
it's the yin and yang, you know?
Yeah.
It's the balance.
So almost at the end of the interview, I'm having such a great time. I have a couple of fan questions before you go. I asked on my Instagram post, and it's by @Stella, Stella.Mutoni. So she asks is, what is the most anticipated part that you're waiting for in Miss Universe?
What I'm most excited for is to meet the girls and to experience everything that's going on backstage. Because what's going on backstage is something that is not going to be recorded. That is something that I can only try to store in my memory. And that is something that I feel like is going to make me appreciate each and every moment a lot more. Because seeing people run around, making sure that everything goes perfectly, that is something that just kind of makes you feel like things are so real, like this is happening. And I'm truly trying to, like, during that time, I'm going to try to take just like mental images. Like, I'm going to remember this, I'm going to remember that. And I'm just so excited to see that, because that is something that you can only see when you're competing.
You had to wait, what, like 2 years, right? Because 2020, we didn't have
Almost,
the Miss
yeah.
Universe. So I
Hmm.
feel like you girls have a lot of time to prepare. So no pressure. We fans are super excited to see you perform in the preliminary and the final night. So all the best for that.
Thank
No
you.
pressure. Question is by Liza Vatten. She asks is, how do you say let's go in Icelandic? Similar to vamos in Spanish and fighting in Korean.
We say komaswo. Yeah, komaswo is like when you're like watching someone play sport, you go like komaswo or something like that. Like it means literally just like, it's literally just means vamonos.
Okay. So
So
it makes sense. It's like saying fighting, right? In Korean.
yeah,
In,
it's the same thing. Like it's like dial. It's like
oh yeah.
let's go. Like let's
Let's
bring
go.
it.
Why should you be the next Miss Universe?
I think I should be the next Miss Universe because I believe I have a lot to bring to the world, and I think it comes from my history, from traveling and just experiencing everything firsthand, because I had the pleasure to grow through becoming the woman I am today, from the kind of child that I was in this little ignorant bubble of thinking what the world was like, to being proven wrong and seeing what the world is really like. And I think having that perspective, I can be really relatable, and I can help others also try to love the world we live in better, because we have so much to bring to one another. And I really want to help share that with the world.
That was amazing. And the crown goes to Iceland. That was amazing. So, like I said, that was the last question. I hope you had a good time talking to me, because I had such a fun time. I feel like you're so outgoing, and even though yes, you come from such an Icelandic, like a cold weather country, I feel like your personality is shining, and I had such a great time talking to you.
I really like talking with you too. It's been such a fun interview, and it's been really great.
Whoever is watching this video can follow you on social media.
You can follow my personal Instagram, which is Elisabet_Hulda, which is just my name. But you can also follow the Miss Universe Iceland Instagram to follow our journey.
Yes, and make sure to follow her and support her on her journey. We have 2 weeks until the final night of Miss Universe, guys. So I'm excited. I'm sure all the people watching this video are also equally excited. Make sure to support her, and hopefully, fingers crossed, because last year, the last edition, Iceland did really amazing. So hopefully it's a back-to-back placement, really high in Miss Universe. For me, Elisabet, I'm just going to say I had such a great time talking to you, and I feel like you're definitely one of the strong contestants for Miss Universe 2020. No pressure. There's a lot of support happening from all the Thai and all the international fans. So all the best for the crown. And saying that, I had a great time. Bye, Elisabet.
Bye-bye.